Welcome to BASES 2024 Christmas seminars. And we've got a number of speakers available. And right now we've got Martin Colborne. And he last appeared on BASES, I think, last year, 2021, was it? No, not 2021, 2023, was it?
Yeah, year before last, I think.
So, Martin, tell us all about what you did last time and what you're going to do this time. And if you could stare ahead, right, as opposed to down.
Indeed. Well, last time, anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
Last time I was talking about the how Christianity is how the false narrative of Christianity has made it impossible for people, as brainwashed people, to the point where they can't determine what evil is, and this was done deliberately. When the Romans started it, and then the King James version of the Bible meant that people are totally confused, and therefore we can't identify and deal with the problem that we've all been surrounded with for all these decades or even hundreds of years.
Well, I'm going to interject there. One thing that King James did was, apart from rewrite the Bible in what we call English, he also wrote a very informed work on demonology.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he knows so much about demonology, perhaps there might be some kind of a flaw in the Bible.
Well, I think he was quite a serious occultist, and he made sure that his translation. I mean, if you ask most people who are not even interested in Christianity, what's the one thing they remember? They say, oh yes, there's that parable that says, and I say unto you, resist ye not evil, and if someone smites you on your cheek, turn the other cheek. And it's a completely false translation of what the original Greek, which the Therapeutai, the people that actually wrote it is now known, who wrote it, and what it means. And it was done deliberately so people cannot understand or deal with evil, which always has to be removed, which is what Trump is going to have to do, or the White Hat, if you call them, or the associates of Trump, is going to have to do to remove all these people that we've been plagued with
Well, we are speaking on the 7th of November, and we are talking about. So let's focus now on your presentation on Saturday, the 14th of December, and you probably will be on round about midday.
What I'm talking about is I'm calling it the glass ceilings of science, because again, like everything else, we've been given false information and made sure that we don't have the science that we should have, and anyone that is clever enough to see through the glass ceiling and how we could have advanced technologies, flying discs and all the energy that we need, their head is hit upon the ceiling of this glass, and you can't go above it. You might see through it, but you can't get above it. So it's been another way of saying it's been suppressed. The technology for free energy transport and yeah, it's all been completely suppressed.
I actually have a book by Tom Bearden which explains some of that. The late Tom Bearden, and it's very, very important, because a lot of the stuff in the secret space program is only happening because they have the science and we don't.
That's right. That's right. Basically, we needn't have been burning coal, oil, or gas for our energy since about the 1880s, when John Keely was one of the first, or I think is one of the greatest. I call them discoverers. I don't want to call them inventors. What you discover the possible. All you do, you discover the possible. What is possible for things to be done. And he discovered in 1860 the means to liberate all the energy and create machinery, things that can function without purely by using sound, and that was in the 1860s. Then, of course, we had Tesla, who discovered radiant energy, and that would again give us all the energy that we would need in a small box, which could fit into a car and would drive a car indefinitely, or then be removed into the house. taken into the house and would power a house. All of this has been suppressed continuously now, and then following up from then, there's many others in the 20th century who discovered how to do this. But I've been talking about Keeley, Tesla, Wilhelm Reich had a motor running from organic or what he called orgone energy.
Which you're, in fact, you're not allowed to say that apparently on YouTube, because the Atomic Energy Commission in the United States has banned it. You can't use that word.
Well, they ban all sorts of things. Hopefully, that's all now going to slowly change. And then we have, of course, coming up to more recent times, in the 50s, a group of people got together after the Second World War and teamed up with a very strange, enigmatic character called John Searle.
Yeah, the late John Searle, really wonderful guy.
Incredible, and he's a very complex character. But the information that I actually worked with John for about 7 years altogether, and he was even staying at the house here for some time when he was in a bit of a dire straits at the time. So I actually have unique information about Searle that no one else has. And I mean, although Searle has been working with other groups, I can tell you now that there's certain information that that I have that others don't have on this.
Well, we leave that to the conference, which is Saturday, the 14th of December. Tell us some more. I bet you got some pictures to show us of Searle's work.
Yeah, I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Martin is sitting on a chair at a beach in the West Indies somewhere, but using electronic trickery, it won't. You're able to. The AI is obscuring that. Okay.
The wind, yeah, that's right.
No, the wind,
is pretty windy here, you see. So you can see it's
You've turned on a fan, Martin, haven't you? God.
Anyway, this is a cutting from this is from the Daily Express on the 25th of April, 1978, and you can see the headline.
Yeah. Actually, if you hold it over, that's it. Yeah.
Here we are. Round the world in 60 minutes, and that's literally they created flying disc craft that completely powered by magnets. By magnetic energy, the energy from magnets, and in a way that would liberate the energy from a magnet, and could go around the world, around the world in 60 minutes. Now, there's another cutting here, because later on in the 1981, very towards the end, it's a very, very faded one, this one. But the importance about this one is the fact that it refers to the fact that the famous Laker Airways was monitoring and went to a demonstration of this technology, and in this article, which is the Sun, this is the Sun newspaper, May the 4th, 1981, and says that they went to a demonstration of Searle's of these flying craft, and Laker Airways was seriously interested in creating a civil flying disc service. Now, 6 months later, after this came out, Laker Airways was put out of business by the British, by the government and British Airways and American Airways. And then another 6 months after that, Searle's house was raided and everything was taken from his house. So
I actually thought he was raided in the 50s, but I didn't know it was as recent as the late 70s.
Because what he had, there was in the 60s, the ONL group, who are the people that actually made all the machinery, the crafts. They made the engine, the magnetic motors. They were all told, because we had a phone call. Had a phone call from someone in their 90s, in about the year 2000, saying there was in 1969 they were all told there was a bullet with their name on it if they continued with electro-gravitics, and that happened to everyone all around. It wasn't just in this country. Everyone around the world was shut down to stop any movement into electro-gravitic energy, which could give us all the energy, free energy we want for our homes, for our craft. Everything was shut down and stopped.
Now, this is very important, because Stephen Greer and people like him are saying this is alien exchange reverse engineered technology. That's a load of bollocks, isn't it?
That's nonsense. This was done by people who came out of after the Second World War. As I show in my presentation, there was what I call flying saucer mania, because of what happened in '47 when the term flying saucer was first coined. They were seen everywhere, partly because a lot of them, they were seeing the Germans created flying disc craft. And
that's the so-called Skoda works in Prague or something, or near there.
Oh, but they were Honeyboos, the Honeyboo series, Honeyboo 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there's a whole series of them.
And a lot of this was in Antarctica, and that all ties up with Admiral Byrd. Apparently, a ship was cut in two by a beam weapon. And that's why they got out of there very quickly.
But after the Second World War, all these guys came back, and they heard the stories from the pilots. Because the pilots were saying, talking about the Foo Fighters, these little glowing objects that would suddenly come up from down below. They would come up from the ground, get near the aircraft, and knock out the magneto. The magnetic field would be so intense it would cause the magnetos to burn out, and that would cause the planes to crash. So that's one thing they were doing. These small little, and they were called the Foo. But
fighters. That's because they had access to a type of physics some people call non-Einsteinian physics, and they were able to generate that kind of stuff.
Schauberger, and it's all in my talk. I talk about Schauberger discovered this and was forced by Austria was taken over by the Germans, was forced to manufacture these so they could use them for offensive purposes. They're called the Foo Fighters. So anyway, at the end of the war, there were all these people that were very clever people and been making things in the war effort, and they heard the stories from the pilots about this, about flying discs and stuff. So and it was all in. I mean, in the 50s, if you look at I've got the cartoons, newspaper cartoons. It was flying saucer mania. Everyone was talking about little green men and flying saucers in cartoons. It's everywhere.
I think if you think of giant rock, I think is it Big Rock? There were people, thousands of people there in the Mojave Desert, and there was thousands up there.
Oh, it really exploded. So a lot of people that had access to very powerful equipment, machine, the most powerful equipment in the country, like the electricity boards, and people that had generating equipment and huge magnetizers. They got together and they were looking for some way in to how do we create this technology that does this. And then along comes John Searle, who had who channeled, had obviously a very difficult sort of upbringing and strange. So many of these people that receive information have had.
I think he was battered so severely as a child that he has suffered from deafness issue.
Quite, I think, that he had some sort of traumas, and people who've had head traumas often receive. Tend to receive information from elsewhere. Anyway, and so he came up with these ideas, suggested a sort of a system using creating rotating magnets around other bigger magnets in a sort of like a giant roller bearing, and they experimented with this, and they succeeded. The information that Searle is not an engineer. He was a channeler, a dreamer, whatever you want to describe him, a channeler, I suppose. But he had access to these guys who had were industrialists, retired industrialists, and they produced. It was between 1948 and 1968 that they produced all these these amazing.
No idea it was as recent as 1968. Well, time is short, Martin. Explain where you can, and you're going to be presenting this on Saturday, the 14th of December.
Just very quickly, if you can see in the background, that is the pictures of some of these discs in flight. Behind me, you can now see in the background, perhaps. So that's what is. But this is just a small example of what is going to be shown.
Well, we really look forward to hearing on this. This is very, very important. This is a major connection between suppressed science from the 1800s and the banjaxed mathematics which we use today to completely fraudulently produce electricity, and now we're going on with these ludicrous wind turbines, all the wrong shape. Schrödinger would be rolling in his grave seeing those things.
And electric vehicles. I mean, this nonsense with batteries, this battery thing, which is an absolute travesty of what we should be doing.
And of course, all the lethal chemicals and stuff involved with that. Well, Martin, anything else briefly just on this little promo?
Not really. I mean, just to say that, hopefully, that now we can, some of these can be revived and we can move into the.
Well, we're not through the finish line yet, and no. There's lots of very, very bad people around. We don't want to talk too much about American politics. We've got enough of our own problems in Great Britain. But this is going to be in Wiltshire, Saturday the 14th, and I look forward to seeing you there. And Martin, thank you very much for coming online from your holiday resort in the sweltering heat of the West Indies.
Yeah, well, this is cheers. I just finished my wine as we.
Yes. Well, we'll let you finish your wine, and thank you very much for coming on to promote your presentation on BASES 2024 winter, Christmas seminars. I'm being distracted by all this sweltering heat you're in. Okay, well, thank you very much for now, Martin.
Bye.
Good. Right.